Happy Friday. I love that term. We're going to start in child's pose today. Spreading the knees nice and wide, sinking back toward our hips, stretching those arms out. Just settling in. Wiggle the belly between the thighs. Press into the fingertips and that bum closer back to your heels. And just breathe here. Lift the wrists up. Still pressing into those fingers, feeling the energy racing up and down your arms. Stretching that spine a little bit deeper. Making sure those big toes are touching. And then wrap one arm around your thigh and then the other. Maybe reaching for the ankles or the heels. And opening up the front of the chest. Maybe laying one side of the face down on the mat. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Just letting that spine settle. Removing gravity from the neck and the shoulders, the spine, the hips. Breathing here. You can choose to bring one cheek to the mat and turn the head to the other side. And bringing the neck back to neutral, balancing on that forehead, reaching the hands behind the back, clasp the fingers, and press the hands away from the lower back. So down toward your heels, stretching the top of the shoulders. Releasing the hands, bringing it back out in front, coming up onto those fingertips. Lengthen that spine and press it down. One more time, up onto the fingertips. And press it down. Coming up into tabletop. Bringing the knees back in and walking those hands back under the shoulders and making hip circles. You can roll the shoulders here if you like. And changing direction. Coming back to center, resetting your table, and lowering down, pressing the elbows down to the earth, lowering down, raising back up, just rolling up, and pressing the hips back, elbows down, and roll it back up. Just mini spine waves here. Elbows down, hips back, and roll it up. One more time. And roll it back up, reaching that right hand forward. And windmill the arm back behind you, making shoulder circles. And reversing those circles. And planting that hand back down, reaching that left arm in front. And making circles. And reversing those circles. Bringing the hands back down, curling the toes. We're going to press up into down dog. Gently walk that dog. And come to stillness up onto the toes. Press the tailbone up. And coming into spine waves here, lifting up onto the toes. Lift that belly. And floating forward into modified cobra. Press that heart forward and back into down dog. Down to your tabletop. Pressing the hips back, uncurling the toes, down onto the elbows, rolling the spine up. Again, down onto the elbows, hips back toward the heels, and roll it up. Curl the toes up into down dog. And walk that dog. Up onto the toes, tailbone toward the sky, spine waves, lift the tailbone, lift the belly, and float it forward, lowering into modified cobra, and back into down dog. Bend the knees, back into tabletop. Uncurl the toes, sink the elbows back and the hips back, roll the spine up. One more time, hips back, elbows down, and roll that spine, curl the toes into down dog. And walk your dog. And coming to stillness here, up onto those toes, lift the right foot up and stretch, reaching up through those toes. And lower it down, left foot up. And reach. And lower down. Back into tabletop. Uncurl the toes. Sink the hips back to the heels, onto the elbows, and roll it up. Again, one more time. And roll it up. Curl the toes back into down dog. One more spinal wave here. Onto the toes. Lift the tailbone and the belly. And sink it forward into modified cobra. And back to down dog. Onto the toes, crouch the dog, hop it up. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And fold, ragdoll. Release that neck, release the shoulders. And hands on top of the feet, roll it up. Roll those shoulders, up, back and down. Up, back and down. 2 more times. And up, forward and down. Wardrobe adjustments. 1 more time. And roll it up, back and down. Reach it up and back. Open the heart. Reach it above the head, back to the heart. Open those arms, reach it up, and exhale to the heart 2 more times. And back to the heart, and last time, reach it up. And exhale to the heart, reach it up and back. Open that heart. Let's dive it down. Fingertips. And fold. Inhale, half. And fold again, half. And fold, ragdoll. Hands on top of the feet, rolling it up. Roll the shoulders, reach it up and back. And exhale, hands to the heart. Balancing on our left foot, lifting that right knee up, flex the foot and hip circles. You can have your hands on your hips here if you like. Forward each direction and other side. Still warming up those joints. And planting that foot down, left knee up. And hip circles. And reversing those circles once you've hit 4. And planting that foot, inhale up, reach it back. Open that heart and dive it down. Fingertips. And fold, bringing feet in closer together. Inhale, half. And fold, wrapping the arms around the back of the legs and grasping for the elbows, bending those knees. Drawing your head in close and then straightening those legs a little bit at a time. And breathing here. And release, hands on top of the feet, rolling it up. Roll the shoulders, reach it up and back. And hands to the heart, reach it up. Open that heart, pausing here. Feel that beautiful opening, roll the heart toward the sky, and then dive down. Fingertips. And fold, hopping back to down dog. And pressing those shoulders back, settling your dog. Onto the toes, spine wave. Lift it up, lift that belly. Extra slow and controlled here. Slowly melting into modified cobra. And lifting back to down dog. 2 more times. Engaging that core. Reaching every muscle in the body. And back to down dog 1 more time. Onto the toes, lift the tailbone, lift that belly. Round the spine and slowly melting down into modified cobra. Pop that heart up toward the sky and back into down dog. Onto the toes, crouch that dog, hop it up. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And fold, ragdoll here. We should be feeling warmed up and limber by now. Hands on top of the feet, roll it up. Roll the shoulders, reach it up and back. And open up that heart, dive it down. Fingertips. And fold, right foot back, warrior 1. And flipping up that back heel, coming onto the ball of the foot, locking in that knee. We're going to come into knee taps here. Hands to the heart, tap that back knee down. Lift it up. And tap. And lift. 2 more. Last one. And reach it up. Frame that front foot. Stepping back to plank. And go through our flow. Meeting back. In down dog. Onto the toes, crouch the dog, hop it up. Forward fold. Half lift. And fold. Reverse swan. Reach it up. Open that heart. And dive it down. Fingertips. And fold left foot back. Warrior 1. And flipping up that back heel. High lunge. And knee taps, hands to the heart. Lift it up. 3 more. Last one. And windmill the hands down, stepping back to plank. And going through our flow. Leaning back. And down dog. Right foot up to the sky. Ankle circles. Breathe in here. And reversing those circles, press those shoulders back. Fire hydrant. Back to 3-legged and swinging that foot through. Warrior 1. Reach up. Sink it low. And warrior 2. Reversing that warrior. And back to warrior 2. Back hand meets the front, square the hips. Back foot stays the way it is. And we're going to come into humble. Hands behind the back. Coming into a back bend here, reaching that heart towards the sky. And hinging forward, inside of that right knee. For humble, reaching those hands up and forward. Dropping that crown toward the earth. And lifting it up, reaching those hands out. Lift that belly. Beautiful, back into warrior 1. We're going to fly this warrior. Moving up onto that back heel as you move forward. Fly it. And then landing that back heel. Reach it up. 2 more. And reach it up. 1 more. Flying that warrior. Reaching it up. And coming back into warrior 2. Right hand inside of that right ankle, straightening the leg for triangle. Roll that heart up toward the sky and lift up through those fingers, another half inch. Press the right palm inside of your right foot and stepping into side plank. And rolling it down to plank. And go through your flow. Meeting back in down dog. Deep breath here. Another deep breath. Left foot out to the side. Press the shoulders back in ankle circles. And reversing those circles. Fire hydrant. And reach it out, 3-legged. And coming into warrior 1. Sinking it low. And warrior 2. My pants do not want to stay up today. We're doing a lot of wardrobe adjustments, reaching those arms out. So reverse that warrior, keep extending. And back into warrior 2. Squaring the hips forward, bringing the hands behind the back. Heel toe that left foot out to the side. And back bend here, opening that heart. And hinging forward at the hips. We're humble, dropping the head toward the earth. Reaching those hands up and bending that front knee deeply. Head toward the earth. 1 more breath here. Lifting up in line with your thigh. Lift that belly and reach those hands forward. And coming back into warrior 1. Beautiful. We're going to fly that warrior. Heel toe your foot back to center. And lift that back heel as we fly it low. Lift the heels, lift it up. 2 more. And lift it up. And last one. Beautiful. Lift it up back into warrior 2. Left hand to the left ankle, straighten that front leg for triangle. Lift up through those right fingers. And windmill the left hand inside of your left foot. And stepping that foot back. It's a little tricky transition for side plank. Lift those hips up. 1 more breath here. And rolling it down to plank. Nice strong plank. And go through your flow. And meeting back in down dog. Deep breath. Another deep breath. Walk your hands in about 2 inches and reach that right hand to your left ankle. And roll your heart toward the sky. And release left hand to that right ankle and heart to the sky. Really pressing into that right palm. And release. Up onto the toes, crouch the dog. And press it up and back. Up onto the toes, crouch the dog. And back onto the heels. 1 more time, toes, crouch. Up and onto the heels, right foot up. And fire hydrant. And bringing it back to 3-legged. Right knee to the left elbow and thread it through for fallen triangle. Reach that arm up. Maybe lifting that right foot up. maybe binding, grabbing onto that toe, and bringing that foot to the top of your space, and releasing back to three-legged. Beautiful. And lowering that foot. Walk your dog. And breathing. Left foot up to the sky. And fire hydrant. Left leg up. And left knee to the right elbow. Thread it through for fallen triangle. Really planting that right heel. And then maybe lifting that left foot up. Reaching for that big toe with your right peace fingers. Maybe extending that leg overhead. And releasing it back to three-legged. Press it back and lower it down. Onto the toes. Crouch the dog, hop it up. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And fold, reverse swan. Reach it up. And hands to the heart. Taking a drink here if you like. Or maybe toweling off. It's definitely warmer today. I think spring has finally gotten its act together. Taking 2 resting breaths. Top of our space. One more deep breath. Reach it up. Open that heart. Keep opening. And dive it down. Fingertips. And fold, stepping the right foot back. Warrior one. And warrior two. Reversing that warrior. Keep extending. And back into warrior two. And we're going to revolve our warrior two back hip to meet the front. So we're squaring our shoulders and our hips forward. Back foot stays in warrior two foot. Reaching that left hand back. And to revolve all the way. Press that right hip forward. And keep revolving. Engaging that core. And back into warrior two. Side angle. And reach it up. Roll that heart up to the sky. Sink that hip low. Beautiful. And then extending it overhead. And back to side angle. We're going to extend the side angle down to the earth. Sinking those hips. And maybe binding here, dropping that shoulder underneath that left knee. Bringing the arm back behind your back. Right fingers find the left and then roll that heart up to the sky. If you have bird of paradise, tap that back foot up. Facing the front of your space. Coming up onto the left toes, press down into the right foot. And lift up. Once you're up, open that heart. Lift those left toes and point. Open that heart further. Really extend. And slowly tapping that left foot down. Hands inside the left foot, stepping right foot back. For high lizard. Rocking it forward and back. And here we are going to bind our lizard. Again, dropping that left shoulder underneath the knee. Reaching the hand around the back. Right fingers find the left. And press the heart forward. Breathing here. And releasing that bind. Left hand outside of the left foot, heel, toe the left foot over to the right wrist. Dropping the left knee to the left wrist and sinking back for pigeon. Uncurling those back toes. Pressing up. Nice release in the lower back. Walk the hands back to the hips. And work on squaring those hips, leveling them down. Hands behind the back if you like. Open those shoulders. Press the heart toward the sky. And release, walking it forward. Clearing that shin and folding down. Just surrendering to this stretch. So this is a nice stretch in that left hip. You can rock side to side if you like. Try to level those hips even more. So you want to press the front of your right hip into the earth. And just release that neck and the shoulders. Whatever position you have to do, whatever position you have to take to release that. One more breath here. Pressing those palms, walking it back in. Curl the back toes and lifting up three-legged on the left. Fire hydrant, and we're going to flip our dog. Reach it out. And 6 crunches here. And extend, flip it back for three-legged. And lower that foot onto the toes, crouch the dog, hop it up. Forward fold. Inhale out. And fold, reverse swan. Reach it up and back. Hands to the heart, deep breath. Another deep breath. Reach it up. Open that heart. Pausing here. And dive down. Fingertips. And fold. Left foot back. Warrior one. And warrior two. Reverse that warrior. Keep extending. And back to warrior two. We're going to revolve that warrior back hand to the front. Square the shoulders forward. Reach that left hand as you extend the right hand to the back. One more breath here. And back to warrior two. Side angle. We'll reach it up. And extend it overhead. Beautiful. Reach back up. And we are going to bring that into extended side angle. So right hand inside of your right foot. Roll the heart toward the sky. And then bind if you have a bind. Dropping the shoulder underneath the knee. Reaching behind the back. Clasping the fingers. Roll the heart toward the sky. Open up that shoulder. And if you're working on bird, tapping that back foot up. Coming onto the right toes, press down on the left. Come up. And flex that foot once you're off the ground. Open that heart once you're up. And point those toes to the sky. Keep lifting and extending to both sides. Keep extending. Beautiful. And slowly tapping the right toes down. Hands inside the right foot, step the left foot back. High lizard. Rock it forward and back. And we're going to bind our lizard here. Planting that back heel. And right shoulder under the right knee. Reaching behind your back. And bringing that heart forward to bind. Beautiful. Releasing. Frame that front foot and stepping back to three-legged. And we're going to swing that right foot to the left. Wrist dropping knee to the right wrist and sinking back for pigeon. Squaring the hips, uncurling those back toes, walking the hands back to the hips. And really shine that heart up, forward and up. Settling your hips, hands behind the back. Deeper back bend if you like. And release, walking those hands out. Clearing the shin and settling in. For a stretch, pressing in front of the left hip into the earth. Breathing here. Two more breaths. Bring the palms underneath the shoulders, curl the back toes, and lift up three-legged on the right. And we are going to come into fire hydrant and flip that dog. Reach it out. And 6 crunches here. Keep extending on each reach. 2 more. Last one. And flip it back. Beautiful. Really extend those toes. And bringing it back to down dog. Up onto the toes. Crouch the dog. Lift it up and plant the heels. Onto the toes and crouch. Lift it up and plant. One more time. Crouch that dog. And sink it back. Beautiful. Right foot up to the sky. And ankle circles. And reverse those circles. Lift those feet up a little higher and warrior one. And warrior two. Reverse that warrior. Keep extending. And back into warrior two. Arch your pose. Right palm faces the left, reaching the left hand into the palm. And drawing that bow back nice and strong, squeezing those shoulder blades together and release. 2 more times. And pull that bow and release. 1 more time. Beautiful. And release. And bringing that right hand to the right ankle, coming into triangle again. Reaching up through those left fingers. And left hand down to the earth, inside of that right foot and revolving that triangle. And framing that foot. Coming into lizard again. I'm sorry, hands inside of the right foot. High lizard. And then if you have a split in your practice, frame that foot and slide the right foot forward. Coming into split, uncurl those back toes. Squaring your hips, you want to draw the right hip back and left hip forward. Hands back by the hips. And do a little back bend here. Point those toes. Beautiful split. And lift up. Lengthen that spine and lower down wherever your split is. And just breathe into it. I like to rock side to side and split. Really leveling those hips. Breathing here. And walking it back up. Curling the back toes. And lifting the right foot back. I actually have to drag it into three-legged. Point those toes up strong. Beautiful. And back into down dog. Walk your dog. Coming to stillness. Raising that left foot up to the sky. Really reaching those toes. And warrior one. And warrior two. Reversing that warrior, keep extending. And back into warrior two, coming into archer here, flipping that left palm to the right, reaching the right hand into the palm, and drawing that bow back, and release 2 more times. Into the palm, draw that bow, strong shoulder blades, and release 1 more time. And release. Left hand to that left ankle, straighten the leg for triangle. Reach up 1/2 inch through those right fingers. 1 more breath. Right hand down in front of the left foot, and we're going to revolve it to the left. Reaching that heart toward the sky. And hands inside of that left foot, again for high lizard. Rocking forward and back. And then framing that foot and sliding the left foot forward for split Hanukkasana. Uncurl the back toes. And then draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Walking the hands back, little back bend. And then folding forward, lifting up, lengthening, and releasing the head toward the shin, wherever your split is. Pointing those toes, beautiful split. And just breathing here, a few more breaths. Just feel that opening. 1 more breath. Press the palms. Curl the back toes. This is tricky. Dragging that foot in, pressing into those palms. 3-legged on the left. Reaching those toes up. And lowering it down into down dog. And walk that dog. Beautiful. And here, we're going to crouch that dog and hop it up into Malasana. And swaying side to side. Settling those hips. Tucking the tailbone forward and drawing those shoulder blades together, puffing that heart up toward the sky and reaching that crown up. Beautiful. Pressing the palms, toes forward, and rolling up to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and fold. Again, half lift, and fold. Pressing into the palms, hopping back to plank. And lowering down onto one forearm, then the other. And maybe bring the feet back a little bit so you can come into low plank. And holding here. Breathing here, nice strong plank. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press one palm, then the other. And back into down dog. 2 resting breaths. Press those shoulders back, stretch out the shoulders and that heart. Raising that right foot up to the sky and swing it through warrior 1. And warrior 2. Back hand meets the front and tapping it up for warrior 3 on the right. Reaching it out. Bringing that left knee up to the belly, hands to the heart. Pressing out for warrior 4. And then bringing that left foot in to your right hip. Press the knee back, hold it there, half lotus. Hands to the heart. And we're going to come into like a chair pose, bringing our elbows down to our shin. Fingers to the earth. And coming into a toe stand. And this is tricky. So hook that left foot on the outside of your right thigh. Your right heel basically gets planted between the bum cheeks. And engage that core. Staying on your fingers is perfectly fine. Unwind the legs and roll it up to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And fold, reverse swan. Reach it up and back. Open that heart. Dive it down. Fingertips. And fold, hopping back to plank. And low plank. So whatever forearm you went down with first the last time, come down with the opposite forearm. And wiggle it back to low plank for 5, 4, 3, shaky is okay, 2, 1, pressing into that opposite palm, and returning to down dog. Woo, that was tough. Walk your dog. And other side, left leg up to the sky, and swing it through warrior 1. And warrior 2. And reverse that warrior. And back to warrior 2. Backhand meets the front, squaring the shoulders and tapping it up for warrior 3. On this side. Hands to the heart, meet the belly. And pressing it forward for warrior 4. Bringing that heel to the left hip. And pressing the knee back to keep it there, half lotus. Hinging at the hips, coming into a chair, bringing our elbows down to the shin, and reaching the fingers to the earth, and coming into a toe stand. That was almost underneath the table. Streeting virtually is a challenge. Engage that core. Really hook that foot on the outside of your left side, and maybe you can let go and balance with it. It's not easy. And release, unwinding the feet and rolling up forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And fold. Reverse swan, reach it up and back. And hands to the heart, taking a drink break. Maybe toweling off. Deep breath. And we're going to come into a wide-legged stance on our mat. I'm going to try Firefly today. I don't know if it's in my practice or not, but that's why I'm leaving those blocks there. So Firefly, Titsubasana. We'll see. We will see. So bring your feet nice and wide. Turn the heels out. Toes in. And let's hula hoop. And notice how your foot position changes the sensations as you're doing different poses. Reverse the hula. If you turn your feet out, it feels differently because you're working different muscles than if you turn your feet in. And coming to stillness. Inhale up. And we're going to dive it down, pressing into the feet and bringing the fingers underneath the face. And maybe bringing those heels out a little bit more. Inhale, half. And fold. Again, half lift. And fold. Walk the hands to the right. Left hand to the right ankle. Hug yourself to the shin and reach that arm up. And wrap it around your back. And release, walking it back to center onto the fingers. And fold over to the left. Right hand to the left ankle. Draw yourself to the shin, reaching that left arm up. And behind your back. And releasing that back to the earth, bringing it back to center. And here you have multiple options here. So I'm just going to come up so I can talk to you without you
staring at the top of my head. So here you can come into a forearm balance, you can come into a headstand, you can transition into your tripod by bringing your feet together, handstand, anything that you have that is an inversion. At this point, I'm going to try Titivasana, like I said. So I'm going to bring my blocks onto my mat. You don't need blocks if you have wrists that bend 90 degrees. Mine do not. So blocks actually help me to balance. If you'd like to try Titivasana, I will walk you through it. So you want to bring your feet forward. And bring the hands back as far as you can. Bend the elbows. And bring my feet in a little more. And sit your bum on your elbows like a shelf. I'm going to press the bum back and lift. Gazing forward. Oh, and that is enough for me. So if you'd like to try that, I'll give you a moment to give it a shot. So one more time. Feet are forward, you're going to bring your hands behind you. And then bend the elbows so that you have a shelf. Sit your bum, or at least your high thigh, on the elbows and lift those feet. Just bringing yourself into the seated position on your shelf is enough work, prep work, for a future firefly. Vinyasa. Staying in our wide-legged, still with our heels out, we're going to come into that forward fold again, pressing those hands under the face. Right hand under the face, reach that left arm up. Really press into the right so you can roll that heart to the sky. And maybe wrapping that arm around your back, finding that front right pocket right here. And breathing. And release, hand back underneath the face. And reaching that right arm up, pressing into the left palm. Rotate fully. Reach that heart up and then wrap the arm to find your front left pocket. You probably can't see where my hand is, so right here on my thigh. And release. And we're going to turn the right toes out, bend the right knee, and come into a side lunge. Roll up that left heel. Bring our hands to heart center. Bringing it down now. Maybe pointing those left toes away. And then flexing that foot. Yes, I have very hyper-mobile knees, hyper-mobile joints. And pressing the left toes away. And bringing it back up. Press the palms, walking it over to the left. So left toes out. And we're bending that left knee. Rolling up onto that right heel, hands to the heart. And pointing those right toes away. Heart forward, shoulder blades together. And flexing that foot. One more time, toes point. And flex, press the palms, walk it back to center. And again, deep forward fold, reaching for those ankles, dropping the head. And just releasing into this pose. If your neck wants to bend, if your head touches the earth and your neck wants to bend in a weird way, bring your feet closer together. But you have more space for your head to hang. If your head doesn't come close enough for you to the earth, move your feet further apart. 2 more breaths here. And release those hands underneath the face. Come up with a flat back onto the fingertips. Engage that core, hands onto the hips. And lift up, pressing into those feet to come up. And walk those feet in. And hula hoop. 4 times in each direction and reversing directions. You made it. Good practice today. Let's bring it to the top of our space. Taking a seat. Hugging those shins in. Sitting up nice and tall. Giving yourself a big hug. Drawing the shoulder blades together. Holding on to opposite wrists. So you can really lengthen that spine. Shoulder blades back and together. And then roll it down. Releasing as you come down. And here we're going to do a back bend, so either bridge or wheel. I think I will try wheel today. You know, every day is different. Sometimes it's in my practice, sometimes it's not. I'll see if I have any arm strength left for wheel. So for wheel, personally, I need a little more leverage at the leg level to come up. Push my legs higher so that I can get lift in my arms. So I turn my toes out. My heels stay at the hip bone level. I turn my toes out. That gives me a little more leverage. And then once I'm up, then I turn my toes forward. So elbow squeeze in. Lifting up. Here we go. And then I turn my toes forward. I think it was the last of my arm strength today. And if you want to come into bridge, pressing into the feet, reaching those hips up. And lowering them down. Let's do 2 more. Up onto the toes, stretching those toes, those ankles, lowering it down. And 1 more time. Up onto the toes. And lower down, right into the belly. Hugging it tight. Clear that rib cage and bring it closer to your underarm. Straighten the left leg. You can point and flex your right foot while you're here. Maybe make circles with the ankle. And reach for that right arch. Have a happy baby. Shoulder down. And then fold that shin over your heart. Left elbow hugs the right foot. Right elbow hugs the right knee. And draw it in. You can tense your left knee if you need to bring that hip and shin closer to your heart. And hug it in tight, but shoulders are down. Back of the neck is nice and long. Maybe roll your neck side to side here gently. Releasing any tension there. And release that foot down. Left knee in. Give it a hug. Straighten that right leg. Clear that rib cage. Hug the knee into your underarm. And pointing and flexing here. And those ankle circles if you like. And reach for that left arch. Have a happy baby. Then maybe bend that right knee, bringing that left foot to the right elbow, hugging that knee in, that shin in. Super close to the heart, shoulders back. And one more breath here. And both knees into the belly, big hug. Rock it side to side. Full happy baby. Yes, I love happy baby. And whenever I do this, I think of my yogi sister, Linda S., who hates happy baby. She calls it grumpy baby. So that'll make her smile when she does this practice. Maybe she won't be such a grumpy baby. Shoulders down and rock it side to side. We're going to take it into a wide-legged straddle on the right. And rock it back and over to the left. Gentle wide-legged. Our hamstrings might be a little tight now from balancing. And now both legs, wide-legged straddle if you like. Shoulders down. No tension in the neck. And then bring those feet together at the base of the spine. Knees drop out to the side. Deep breath here. And sigh it out. Another deep breath. Just surrender to this stretch. You reach the arms up overhead, grasping opposite elbows. Resettle your neck, so lift your head, straighten your neck, and settle in. Making sure that there's no compression in the back or the front of your throat. Another deep breath. And sigh it out. And one more breath. And sigh. And bringing those knees back together. Heel toe the feet out to the edge of your mat, dropping the knees into each other. And from here, if you want to bring it into reclining hero, you can grab onto your right ankle and slowly roll up onto your left hip and drawing your right foot to the side. Tucking it under. Giving your muscle time to respond. I just have my left knee out to the side. Checking in with the small of your back. It's not too arched. Mine was, so I'm going to settle that down. This is a great stretch for the front of those hip flexors as well as the quads. And roll up onto the left hip and release that foot. And we're going to do that on the right. Roll to the right. Grab onto your left ankle. Draw it to your bum, towards your bum. And roll so your foot is outside of your hip. Tucking the toes under. So untucking the toes, I should say. So you're on the back of your foot. And pressing that lower spine toward the earth. And a beautiful stretch here. So half reclining hero. The Ardha Supta Virasana. One more breath here. And roll up onto the right, releasing that foot. Bringing both knees into the belly. Another big hug. Rocking side to side, massaging that lower back. And then stretching your legs long, reaching the arms up overhead, pointing the toes and fingers away from each other, stretching, really stretching, and then just the right side, and then just the left side, and then settling in for your Savasana. Bringing the shoulder blades closer together, down toward the hips. Palms touch the earth or up in a receptive manner, letting those toes flop out to the side. Deep breath here. And sigh it all out. Another deep breath. And as you exhale with a sigh, feel your muscles melting into the earth, just letting it all go. Breathing in and breathing out through your nose. Starting to let go of all of your efforts. Giving yourself a huge thank you. And then letting it go. Allowing yourself to enjoy 5 to 10 minutes of asana. Just breathing and being. Allowing the mind to be open, the heart to be open and receptive. And thank you for joining me on the mat today. The divine light in me sees, honors, and bows to that same light in you. Namaste.